The issue I have, I just feel like whenever this conversation comes up, I just don't learn anything. I don't learn anything, okay? I know we're divided. I know people don't like Trump. I just never learn anything from it.
Each side was just trying to paint him as, well, he's not our guy, he's the other guy, right? He's on that team.
Yeah.
He's part of the bad people. He's not part of us, the good people.
But he suffered from TDS, just like the other caller that I was arguing with, where people become fanatically obsessed with hating him, just like some people become fanatically obsessed with loving him. It's bizarre. It's weird. He's a guy. He was a president. Jesus.
It's not that immigrants are taking your jobs. It's that you're lazy and you suck at what you do. Okay, no. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. First, I think Lactoid is unfortunately about half right about normies. I figured this out when I was talking to my grandparents, and they said things I cannot repeat on Twitch about North Carolina's Republican candidate for governor. But I think, more importantly, I felt this way after the first assassination attempt, and I feel this way now. This entire conversation to me just seems like absolute deadweight loss a conversation, okay? Wick, I love your content, okay? I enjoyed the
Save the
debate.
conversation. Do it better. You're here. Give it what it should be. Let's see if the viewers agree. And $5 real quick from the Trib 1 to say Trump's rhetoric and disregard for truth has been the talk. Trumpers absolve him while non-Trumpers despise him. Never want to see assassinations, though. Well, thank you for the $5. And remember, again, all this discussion is happening in the context of we just had another attempt on Trump's life, a second attempt in as many months, I believe. That's a problem. Go ahead, finish your statement, though. I'm sorry.
Well, it is definitely a problem. The issue I have, I just feel like whenever this conversation comes up, I just don't learn anything. I don't learn anything, okay? I know we're divided. I know people don't like Trump. I just never learn anything from it. When Lactoid was having a bit of a conversation with the last people up there, you know what I learned? I learned that Bernie Sanders apparently didn't think Roe v. Wade was a solid decision, okay? That is an interesting discussion. It's just all the Trump assassination stuff. It just seems like total waste of time to me.
Sorry it's boring you. It's kind of the conversation. I get it. Not everything's not all my content's going to be for everyone. I get it. But I do. The reason I'm doing this and the reason I'm having this conversation is because I want to talk about it. Because maybe I won't learn anything, but I want to vent a little bit. I want to talk about it. I thought the interaction between Lactoid and Razzle was a good example of the problem. Why did Night of the Day go away? I wanted to hear from him too. He was muted. You were muted, brother. We weren't interrupting you. Oh, well, whatever. He's gone now. He can come back if he wants. But the reason I think that it was a good example of a problem is because both of them, Razzle did this and then Lactoid did this, started arguing with him, is they went and they tried to argue who was at fault for this or what party he was part of. It wasn't so much what he did or anything. Each side was just trying to paint him as, well, he's not our guy, he's the other guy, right? He's on that team.
Yeah.
He's part of the bad people. He's not part of us, the good people. And that tendency to happen on any major tragedy, right? Whenever there's a shooting, whenever there's a attack, the first thing a lot of people do is check to see, one, what race or gender they are, okay? Is it a white person or a black person, right? Is it an immigrant? Is it a naturalized citizen? And then they check, are they Republican or a Democrat? And even if they aren't one or the other, do they support one or the other more? And I think that makes it impossible to talk about the actual stuff that honestly matters here.
Sure. First I want to say, Wick, I was just expressing my frustration with these conversations as a whole. I don't want to attack your content, brother. I understand. It's your show. You do what you want.
I'll attack your content. I was clarifying that we don't know exactly what party he's affiliated with. He's absolutely an anti-Trumper if he is a Republican. If he's a Democrat, he hates Trump. But he suffered from TDS, just like the other caller that I was arguing with, where people become fanatically obsessed with hating him, just like some people become fanatically obsessed with loving him. It's bizarre. It's weird. He's a guy. He was a president. Jesus.
Do we think is at all likely this guy was mentally ill? The last Trump shooter was probably mentally ill, it looks like, in some way. Do we think this is something someone would do if they weren't, in some respect, mentally ill?
Couldn't begin to guess.
They're probably mentally ill.
That's something I'm not going to speculate on. But
Okay, that's fair, sure.
Night of Day, what are some of your thoughts here? Go ahead.
All right. If you're going to shoot at presidential candidates, the chances of being mentally ill are absolute to a degree less than absolute. We are not living in somewhere. Whoever wins this, you're going to survive the next 4 years. You're going to gain weight in the next 4 years. However horrible you might think Joe Biden was, or if you think he's the greatest thing ever, chances are you got fat during COVID. If you thought that was horrible and whatever, chances are you gained weight and you're lazy. You're just a lazy person
I feel like
who
you're
survived
tackling
a
it personally here.
pandemic.
Go on.
This is the epitome of a first world problem here. The United States of America will be around. Go back and see what the Spanish flu was like compared to COVID. This was a breeze. We're calling that a pandemic. This is not even. We're driving people crazy with hyperbolic and sensational nonsense in order to, no offense, but do this because we're all bored. This is a hobby. So let's go talk about politics online. And we're playing this game of one-upsmanship. We're worshiping rhetoric. Rhetoric is another word for bullshitting somebody. If someone is confused as to what rhetoric means. And if you're not prepared at this point to say, okay, we've gone too far, and I myself am going to step back, you're part of the problem. You have to do it for yourself. You don't wait until the other side this or this side. Be the example yourself. If you can't be that, you are unprincipled. This doesn't go farther than you. It is a you, me, and everybody problem. You have to be the example. This is not. That's where we are right now. We have people, young men, who have very, very bad ideas, shooting at a presidential candidate that if they hit him, there is no way, God forbid they killed him, there is no way anybody can predict what would happen next other than it would be horrible for all of us. This will not go well for anyone. If there's anyone out here who can't see that and can't step back and get help, seriously, go get help. I'm 45 years old. Maybe I'm ancient to be on the internet and doing this, but this is, at least I have a frame of reference, and I really feel like a lot of people, there's a lot of scared young people out there. Your life will get better. Yes, you're young. You don't have any skills. You probably suck. The only way you get to not sucking is by actually living life.
Okay.
There's really not much more to it than that.
So I feel like you're a threat to my audience numbers.
This guy's
okay?
based.
Okay.
Just
Like,
jumps on and
telling
calls
people
all of
not
us
to
fat.
watch
This
me,
is
what's
sick
going
as
on?
fuck.
Why
I'm fat
do
too.
both of my callers today, right? At least both the callers that are in the call now think, well, I'm here, but this subject sucks and we shouldn't be talking about it.
No. This is a
No,
fantastic.
no. This guy's
subject.
fucking. This guy is fucking completely Chad, right? He jumps in. He's like, "You're all fat. Like all the kids these days are unskilled. They all suck." I'm with it. This is fucking awesome. Keep going.
No, these kids are scared. We have scared them to death. Over, like, if you became an adult of age during COVID, where they told you this nonsense that you have to wear a mask and run around, unless you have literally rolled snake eyes for every health use factor
Obesity,
you
let's say, if they
possibly
had
have.
obesity.
Here's a fucking treadmill. Figure it out. If you have obesity, move more, eat less. It really works. These things are not. These are not It will take sweat, will take effort, will take discipline, yes, and you will benefit from all three of those things. The idea that your life is being hindered by Donald Trump, Joe Biden, or Kamala Harris is simply bullshit. You be in charge of your life. You write your own story.
Actually,
These people
true.
do not.
Actually, look what you know. What I'm gonna ignore some of the stuff you said that I didn't agree with, but that statement in and of itself, this is a problem I see too much just in general. We all want to blame someone else for our problems, and sometimes, it's hard not to, right? Because some people are directly responsible, right? Like your wife left you, your kid disowned you, your mom and dad beat you growing up. I don't know, right? Like those are real problems.
Well,
That's true.
all of those problems. Remember, you had a hand in all of them too.
Oh, the child who is getting beaten by his parents, partially their fault.
Wick, you're in your 40s.
I mean, if only they
Back in
do the
our
dishes
day-
correctly, Wick. I
I
mean,
guess so.
For
That's
real.
just a weird. No,
I
I'm
don't-
not
Wait,
gonna
Wick,
follow you
if-
down that
Tied to
road.
a belt.
I'm
out
gonna
of
make this.
jail.
I want to make this about. I'm going to use this opportunity for a quick political dunk. Left wingers blame other people for their problems more often than right wingers do. I got a psychological study on that. Right wingers are much more likely to have an internal locus of control,
Yes,
which means they take
yes,
responsibility. They take responsibility for
Mhm.
their actions, while left wingers are more likely to have an external locus of control, which means they believe in systems and in the environment and everything's systemic, et cetera, et cetera. And they can't control anything, nothing's their fault, et cetera.
No, that's the basis.
We're
for
also taller and have
a lot
higher
of
T
this.
on average, but that's
Look,
Damn.
not the point.
I'm a master plumber in New York City. I don't have time for. I see the kids. They can't do fractions. They can't. The I can't tell you how many guys I've gotten from real hard knock cases. I'm talking straight out of jail. Training them is the first work they've had, and some of them can be in society and get better, and some of them really need to be institutionalized. And I have to hand that guy sharp objects and something that can make fire, and turn my back on him. And you have to, you get a feel for these things, and you roll with it.
So,
Life is not fair. Don't
I
expect it to
want to
be.
push back against Lactoid a bit, because while you might have a study that says that, at least
do.
when it comes to active political rhetoric, right? Trumpers especially, they have a persecution complex, right? They have the world's out to get me complex, right? I'm not talking Trump specifically here, because obviously, well, there was a second assassination attempt on his life.
They are out to get him, yeah.
Wick, that's also true for the people who believe in the conspiracy theory of racism.
What? I know.
Systemic
No, we're not
racism
going to go.
is
I'm
all
going to
about
make my
something-
point without getting distracted.
We need more plumbers in office. That's what we need.
We're
We
not
got to
going
bring
to
on
go.
more plumbers.
We're not going to
Plumbers
go
are good
down
at
that
removing the
route.
shit. Removing the bullshit, they are experts at it, okay?
Certainly make it flow.
They are going to clean the pipes of the American politics, okay? They are going.
Let me finish my thought before we get in.
Sure.
Okay? Let me finish my thought. So a lot of the things that I've seen throughout my life, this isn't just with Trump, right? But this is something I've seen on the right, especially, right? That the world is out to get them. The media biased against them, right? If something goes wrong, it's because those damn Democrats got me fired. Those damn Democrats did this. Those damn thanks Obama. It was a meme for a while, right? This idea of blaming everything on the other side, anything that went wrong in your life. Thanks Obama, right? Thanks Biden. Thanks Kamala, right? So while you may have a study that shows individually that might be true, and I'm not discounting it. Maybe it's true, but when it comes to groups as a whole, Republicans are far more often going to be blaming academia, immigration, all these things, all their issues on these outside forces, rather than just taking. Look, it's not that immigrants are taking your jobs; it's that you're lazy and you suck at what you do. That's why you can't get hired.
Both can be true at the same time, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's where I am on this.
an immigrant can do better than you at the job, but also be able to be in the position to take it because Democrats let them in.
State measures don't come in Spanish.
But I feel like Republicans use immigration as a scapegoat for like almost everything, for crime, for housing prices. It seems like all of these things they try to blame immigrants for.
Everybody you've ever met blames somebody else when something.
I'm just going for the science. That's all I'm doing. Okay.
Was the study
I'm a
done
scientist at heart.
in the pre-Trump era? That definitely would not surprise me. The pre-Trump era.
This has been consistently replicated. A consistently replicated fact is that conservatives, they're happier. They have more of an internal locus of control. In fact, and the high testosterone is true. And by the way, it's so true to an almost bizarre point. Whick, you're going to like this. When you give Democrats testosterone, they become more Republican. Yes, quite literally. So like there was one survey, I can give it to you, Whick. They gave like a cohort of Democrat men higher like testosterone injections, and like they reported warmer feelings towards the Republican candidate over time.
The number one way to make people vote Republican.
Yeah, but you guys don't have nearly as many femboys on your side.
Well, that's probably true. There's probably a correlation there as well.
I will cite the counterexample of Nick Fuentes, okay, chief femboy of all femboys, okay.
That's good.
He's really putting a challenge to your theory here, okay.
He's an anti-Trumper at this point.
I was going to say he is anti-Trump at this point, like.
But
specifically because of Israel.
Do we like? Can we really definitively say? Well, we can't say this about anybody, but for someone like him, like he can say whatever statement he wants. Like I can only ever say that that's 70% true about whatever he feels, because he's got to say and be outrageous and do. He's a show. He's. And this is part of the problem why our politics are getting so twisted, is because, no offense, Whick, I respect you and I'm not trying to shit on what you do, but when we have this way to broadcast ourselves, and
he's gonna call you fat, Whick.
Whick. I
the Cutebot people. Like I showed you that clip. Hold on, for those of you who don't know, I went on Cutebot last night. Okay, decimated the MAGAs. Okay, decimated them. Won every single back-to-back elimination debate that I had. Just crushed them. But one thing that a clip of them talking about me after, crush. Right? There's a talking. I crushed you too. I just had to go because it was 2 a.m.
Oh yeah, that's what happened. Sure. Yeah. Oh, you just had to go. You're right.
I did.
Yeah.
I even said that on the stream. Anyway, regardless. My point here is, I saw a clip of them talking about it afterwards, right? I guess Cupid's mod and one of the guys I beat, right, Coping. They thought I was 400 pounds. Both of them thought I was like 400 pounds. Do I give off that vibe, gang?
Not at all.
I'm like $180, okay? Which is like, to be clear, 20 more pounds than I'd like to weigh, okay? I weigh 20 more pounds than I'd like to weigh, but I'm not like even fucking close to 400 pounds. What's going on?
No, this is.
I don't give off fat vibes. I hope I.
How tall are you? How tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
5'8", okay.
Nice.
I'm gonna calculate BMI real quick and then I'll compare it to mine.
No, he's good. 185.8 is good. That's especially for an American. Remember, BMI you gotta adjust to American standards. It doesn't go.
I am by no means like super fit, right? Like I got a bit of a gut. Yeah. I got a bit of a gut, but
we won World War II. We get to be fatter.
True.
That's the way it is.
White Dark says Whick is heavy. He is weighted with knowledge.
There you go.
Okay. But any other further thoughts on the Trump assassination from either of you?
Please don't let it happen again. Well, let's all
I will
just
do my
hope
best
it
not
doesn't
to let it happen again. Okay?
Yeah,
like, what am I gonna do?
And wait, nothing that any influencer or whatever online personality says or does makes someone go there. And even if you directly were to say it, you're still not responsible. That's bullshit. When someone goes and arms themselves and goes out there to be an agent of chaos, that's all on them. However, contributing to it is on your own conscience. and that's for you and whatever you understand to deal with. And if you find something where you might be liable, you get a letter from a lawyer. That's not going to be a good day. That's just how these things can go down. Because you can always get a letter from a lawyer. They send
Lactoid's
them
never
out.
sent me a letter, so I'm good.
Lawyers are terrible people. And
What
without
about
exception.
you, Nonfom? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's not a good situation we're in. I'd much rather live in a world where it didn't happen, and I could just talk about how Trump wants to have consult the Fed on interest rate decisions, which I think is a horrible thing. But we don't live in that world. So,
well, you know what world we do live in?
I saw
The
that
world where I send them to the void.